You're listening to The Forgotten Faction, brought to you by Dads of Destiny Westside. Visit us at dodwestside.com or follow us on Twitter at dodwestside. Hey guys, Zach Plays again, and this week we have with us System Glitch, Doc Holiday, and a special guest, Ash from our clan. Ash is one of our admins, and Ash is going to be on here today, talk a little lore with us, maybe talk a little raid strats with us. So we're going to have some fun. So, System, how you doing today?
Pretty good. Better than I was last weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, you were pretty out of it last weekend. Doc, how's it going?
Pretty good.
That's it? Just pretty good?
Yeah, you know. I'm up. I'm awake. I have coffee.
There we go. You got coffee. Yesterday was National Coffee Day.
It's like 2 o'clock there for you. How could you be, tired?
Well, because I've been up for the past, 8-9 hours. I can't seem to actually be able to sleep in. It's terrible.
Ash, how's it going?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
So
Had
Ash,
another raid completion last night, so that's always a fun
there
thing.
we go. All right, we can talk about that today. So, for those who don't know you, Ash, where can they find you? Social media, Twitch, anything like that?
On social media, Twitch. I do have a Twitch channel. It's rarely ever used. It's just twitch.tv/ash3825. Catch me streaming once a year. On Twitter, I've got a couple of Twitter accounts. One's my personal account, just at Mr. Spooky. But I try some more personal stuff, more Destiny related, DoD related stuffs. That account's at Ash3825X, because apparently somebody in some foreign country likes the name Ash3825. Okay.
Well, that's a bummer. But you still have one, Ash3825X.
Yes.
On Twitter. Cool. We'll see if we can send some people who may not have already been following you.
I follow both.
Yeah, I think I
do
at
too.
least follow Mr. Spooky, at least.
Yeah, I need to. I'm not super active on there just because I always forget.
Yeah, no, I get that, and that's thankfully I've got I have TTT set up for a lot of things, so that it automatically sends tweets out for me because I forget. But anyways, welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today. So
great to be here.
We will talk about the TWAB this week at Bungie. So actually, this past week we had a first Bungie bounty of D2. Which was really cool, and it seems like it went really well. It was with Giggs, and I don't know Giggs. I know he's kind of big, but I don't really watch him. But he was on with Cosmo, and then two Crucible designers, Josh Hamrick and Kevin Yanes. And so there were several of our guys trying to match up with them. But I don't think any of us got to match up with them that night. But
yeah, I meant to get on it. I meant to get on and try to do that because I'm fairly close to the Bungie guys.
Oh, nice.
And I semi-regularly get paired with them in D1, but...
That's... Really?
Yeah.
You're actually, for Bungie Bounty, or just in
general? No, just in general. They get the... It's like, oh, hey, that's Cosmo. It's like, oh, crap, that's Deej, you know.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, I remember there was one Iron Banner. We realized we were in with Cosmo, and instead of grabbing crests and things, we were all too busy trying to kill Cosmo, and somebody was getting mad, I forget who it was, and just screaming, "Stay on the objective! Forget about Cosmo!"
That's probably fun. War.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But anyways, they put out some patch notes for a few things that they're going to be fixing. That's really, really boring though, so I'm not going to read that. Just know that there is another hotfix coming. They're deploying it October 3rd. So there's going to be some more maintenance. There was more maintenance last week, or I should say earlier this week, and they're just kind of constantly going in and updating a few things here, a few things there. But one of the interesting things, they talked about the sandbox this week, and they talked about the multi-tool. And they said, we know that everybody's using the multi-tool, but according to their numbers, there are options that beat it out. And I thought that was interesting, considering how many multi-tools were being used in there. Have you guys found anything that outshoots a multi-tool?
Not
At
off
that
the
range?
top of my head. At that
Yeah,
range, no.
Not that I've seen. I haven't played a whole lot of PvP in D2 yet, but yeah, I mean, before I actually held off on doing any of my exotic quests until I was a higher level. So I had been running, Nameless Midnight. Else?
That was the one I was going to bring up. Is Nameless Midnight, I hear, is really good. I do not have one yet, though.
It melts in PvE. I haven't really played too much PvP with it, so
supposedly it wrecks pretty good. So that'll be interesting to see. I hope they put out some sort of a balance here soon that brings. I think particularly pulse rifles need a small buff. I don't think it needs a big one, but just a very minor bump up, because right now they're just not. They're not in the meta where they need to be, I don't think. And so let's see here. Wow, that's interesting. Huh. So Nameless Midnight currently sits in the PvP weapon insights as the number 2 weapon used.
Interesting.
With 9% of kills being used, the Nameless Midnight's being used for. So it's getting pretty popular. So that's a significant increase.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gun.
Yeah, because it was. Looks like they track it back to September 12th, and it was only like 4.5%, and then looks like somebody figured out like, oh, this thing is good back on the 15th or the 16th, and then everybody started using it. It's just been steadily increasing.
Yeah, it's those explosive rounds on it.
Nice. Is that part of what makes that hand cannon with explosive rounds decent?
The Future War Cult one?
Yeah.
No, see, that doesn't have explosive rounds. That has like mini bombs attached to the guns, and they like detonate after a few seconds.
Oh,
So is it after?
Yeah, and there's
impact?
We'll say that again.
Is it after impact, or is it a few seconds like after?
It's after impact.
Yeah, and they're saying there's no range drop on the damage for that either.
Yeah,
so.
there's no range drop off.
Oh,
So as long as you can hit them, that explosion will go off.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Then the other one I think that actually has actual explosive rounds is Better Devils.
Yes.
oh, I love that gun.
Is currently the 5th most used gun in PvP by kills. So that's a widely used one. I've been having fun with Judgment, which is the Trials hand cannon. Mostly for the fact that you basically never have to reload, because you can use the slide perk that all those weapons have built in, slide shot. And because you only have like 9 rounds to begin with, you slide and it gives you back like 2 or 3 rounds every time you slide. So it's shot, slide, shot, slide, and you never have to reload. So
yeah, that gun was
awesome.
those guns were like built for all those sweaty tryhards in the Crucible that just run around and slide everywhere, and it shoot slide, and it's like, could you guys have built a gun anymore for these people? Like,
well, here's the thing though, it does that, but it's range is really not all that good, and it's like a 4-tap with headshots. So I've been using it, and I've been getting decent results, but it's not like godlike. It's got some great, great perks that make it fun to use and play right into my existing play style, making it usable. If I wasn't sliding constantly, it wouldn't be usable. I would just ignore it for something else.
Now, does the shotgun have that perk?
Yes.
I believe so. The
course.
shotgun,
They pretty much all
I
do.
think they all do.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah. Which I just got that shotgun this past Trials weekend, a sudden death, and it's pretty good. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. But I don't know, it's not being used a ton. But yeah, it has slide shot, snapshot sights, threat detector. Yeah, but it's still not as good. Everybody's still using which Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun. Everybody's just using that one.
Yeah, because that full auto, the thing's dirty.
Yeah. And then the other one that I've seen quite a bit of use in is... Nope, that's not it. There's one with a slug shot. Is it good bone structure?
The Suros one?
Yeah. Good bone structure. Because that one,
it's in my vault. It's in my vault somewhere.
I think so.
Because I've got
there's a couple of
It's
slug
really
shotties
good.
out there that are just, the range on them is just so broken. It's gorgeous.
First in, last out is really good as well.
First in, last out. Yeah, I've been using that one. I have that one. That one's fun to use. Definitely.
Yeah, I've been meaning to try those out in PvP because I really enjoyed using the Chaperone in D1.
That's it. That's what everybody's been grinding for on New Monarchy, is the New Monarchy shotty.
Because
the
unification?
Slug, it's a slug shotty with full auto.
Oh, is it really? I didn't even pay attention.
Yeah, it's full auto.
It's in my vault. I just didn't care enough to pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's a baby Chaperone. That's what it is. That's what everybody's saying. It's a baby Chaperone. Destiny Fun Popo, he's been using it, and he's already put up a couple of videos of him just wiping whole teams. It's pretty nasty. So, anywho, with that, there's still a lot of options, and yes, the multi-tool was extremely popular, particularly in that first week of trials, because that map was so long, and people were finding you could just walk firing lines and wreck. But this week's map actually lends itself really good to submachine guns and auto rifles, and so I've been having a lot of luck with the trial sub, the mini multi-tool, even a couple of other options within that. Have you guys played trials at all this week?
Nope.
No, this week.
Okay, there's one sidearm though, called... Which one is that one? There's like so many sidearms. Last Hope. Oh my
Last
gosh.
Hope. Yeah, that thing is stupid.
Everybody's running that thing right now. Everybody, and it is broken. And there's been a huge increase in its usage over the past week or so. That's being used quite a bit. That one's a lot of fun. I found Drang is a lot of fun too. I tried the Swift Verdict, wasn't a huge fan. That's the trials one. Have you guys found any sidearms that you guys really like?
Last Hope.
Okay, outside of
I've got the trials one, but I don't know. I haven't used it yet. I haven't put it up to light. I was a little surprised it came to me at 15 light instead of 10. So, but I haven't even done anything with it.
Okay.
Yeah, Last Hope's good. There was a green sidearm I got like right when I first started playing. It was full auto, and that thing was just fun. And I'd long since gotten rid of it, but anyway, I'm sure there's probably a legendary equivalent, but
I'm sure there is. But anyways, so is there any other weapons that you guys have found, like maybe a legendary that you guys use that you tried out, maybe from a specific faction that you guys liked? Outside of the Future War Cult hand cannon?
Actually, I like the Future War Cult auto rifle, the number.
Yeah, the number.
I got a random drop from Cade's chest last week, and yeah, that thing was fun. I even used that during trials, and it works pretty well.
I did see a few people running it, so I'm sure that is usable. I got a Song of Justice 6, which is the scout rifle from New Monarchy, and can't stand it.
No?
Nope. It's a fun weapon in PvE. It does a ton of damage. The problem is the rate of fire just doesn't match up, and you have to hit headshots with it in Crucible. And if you're trying to get shots off and you're just not quite landing headshots, you just get absolutely wrecked by someone with a multi-tool. So it's just not as forgiving as the multi-tool is, and even then it would barely beat it out, if at all. But I really did enjoy using it in PvE. I ran a few adventures with it. It was fun.
Yeah, I agree. I've got one too. My only gripe about it is it just the sound of the gun is a little wimpy.
No? Well, okay.
I really like my the Pleiades corrector. That's the Future War Cult scout rifle. That thing's pretty good too.
The what?
The
Never heard of that
Pleiades corrector. It's the Future War Cult scout rifle. It goes in your energy slot, and its perk is Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage. Stacks 3 times.
Ooh.
So
That
it's like,
sounds interesting.
yeah, so it's really good for PvE and fairly decent for casual PvP.
Huh. I guess I'm gonna have to try that one. If I can get a hold of it. So someone said they got a random drop of a Future War Cult item from a chest.
Cade Stash, yeah, that's how
Cade
Ash
Stash.
and I
Cade
both
Stash,
got
yeah.
our auto rifles from.
Okay, so
from
I'm gonna have to
Future
go
War
start
Cult.
doing Cade stashes because I haven't done any of those yet. So my bad.
Yeah, there's the Future War Cult auto rifle, the New Monarchy scout, and then the Dead Orbit sidearm, I think.
Pulse.
Is
Oh,
that
the
it?
Pulse, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Those are the
come
3
from
that can
chest.
drop.
Okay, so moving on a little bit here on this week at Bungie. They got to the movie of the week, and I really enjoyed the Booping, a tractor story, using the tractor cannon. And I have one question about it, since I don't have one yet. I have the ornament for it, which kind of pisses me off, but I don't have the actual tractor cannon yet. If you point it at the ground and you jump and then shoot it, does it push you up in the air?
No,
Dang it. Really hoping it would do that.
this isn't
that's okay.
Overwatch.
I was gonna say that sounds like a very
Yeah.
Overwatch thing to do.
Exactly. That's what I was like. I want to see what this thing does. But I'm calling this now. I need to make a video. Once I get one, I need to make a video using Salt and Peppa Push It. And that would be hilarious, I think. So I'm gonna make a video with it.
I know. I really want to get a boop cannon just so I can run around in Crucible, and every time I do it, I'm just gonna go boop.
I've got it. I can never get heavy ammo. Either I just don't care about it, or somebody else always like hugs the box and will
No.
go sit across map from everyone and hug the box.
Yeah, for like 45 seconds.
It's so annoying that people
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that quad shoulder charge kill?
I
You guys all
didn't,
see
even
that?
pay- I didn't even watch it.
That
you
yeah,
gotta
that
take
was
that
was pretty
looks-
good.
So it looks like, so I haven't run a Titan yet, but you have a perk where if you shoulder charge, it does damage to the surrounding players, and it looks like everybody was like half in that
What the-
room, and he does one shoulder charge and kills all 4.
I just watched that.
Yeah, that's
What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, well, that's not broken at all.
That's a thing.
They need to
Yeah, but
tone that down
it
just a little bit.
also works like it also is your melee. So you can either have regular melee or shoulder charge. And once you hit somebody with your shoulder charge, even if it doesn't kill them, it removes your melee
Right.
charge, so it
It-
has to recharge.
Definitely. I completely understand that. But he's still got a 4-kill with a melee, which is not power, not a super, with a melee. That seems a little
Yeah, I'm watching it again.
broken to me. Yeah, I know exactly. He's just like, I gotta watch that again. Like, what health was everybody at?
No, some of them looked full. Like,
Yeah, at least the guy he connected with was
Well, he looked like he got
barely. He had a
tapped.
tiny little bit of shield, and then everybody else you can't really tell. So I don't know.
I don't know, like the guy that he connected with. I'm looking at it right now. He looked like he got at least tapped.
Yeah, no. He has this tiny little sliver of shield left, and that's all.
Yeah, because
And
he took
shields
out
make
his.
up more of your health now. So yeah,
Wow.
Is there like area of effect damage when you connect or something? Or
yeah, there is.
There is, but it shouldn't be that much.
Those guys must have all been sliver. Like, and that's the thing. It's really hard to tell from there.
Although the fact that he was even able to get close enough to shoulder charge is a testament to either how bad they were or how good he was. Because if you try to go and shoulder charge somebody now, you are going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, he did hug the corners pretty hard there, and he just came
Yeah.
around a corner right through a doorway. They were standing immediately on the other side of the doorway, and he.
Well,
connected.
then that's on them for not having
it is.
situational awareness on that one.
Yeah, they obviously weren't looking at their radar or something because they took out one of his teammates right before that. So
Yeah.
the fact that they didn't see him coming.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
that's on them, not
Yeah.
him.
Anyways, cool video, well done. But anyways, so that's the TWAB this week. So again, don't forget, there's going to be a little bit of maintenance on the 3rd as they deploy hotfix 1.0.3.1.
oh, one thing you didn't mention in
Yes.
the patch notes is the clan trials and raid drops.
Oh,
The
that's
clan
right.
engrams that we're only dropping at 10. Now we're going to drop it full.
What?
Yeah, apparently, System and I thought that was intentional, but apparently that's a bug. I
thought
liked
I
it.
thought that was intentional.
Yeah,
I
I would-
liked it that way.
I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't like that they're changing it to drop
And
it full.
that's someone who the only time I get trials weapons is when one of our clan members actually goes flawless. And I was perfectly okay with getting late level 10 gear.
Right, and then having to infuse it up because you're going to go do the raid for me, so that I can get raid gear, and then I'll go do trials for you, so you can get trials gear. Like, I thought that's the way it's supposed to work, but I guess they're going to drop it at full light, which I think is a little strange. But
See, that at that point, that goes into the whole like
For when somebody brought it up and they go, oh, yeah, that's supposed to be that way.
yeah, but that goes to the whole here's your trophy for participating, but not really.
And again, this is where I read an article recently. A guy was talking about how they're trying to make it better for the casual players, and the casual players don't want to have to grind so much, and to get to that higher, get to max level. They don't want to grind, which is frustrating because that's part of what I liked about Destiny so much, and
Right.
giving guys top tier gear right off the bat just because they're in the clan. I don't know. It seems a little
Well,
broken.
they've definitely obviously not found their middle ground yet because
No,
they
This is too easy.
did all these changes for the casual guy who is
Yep.
most likely still 265 270 at this point.
Mhm.
But it leaves people like me who's got almost over 200 hours in the game already out in the cold because now I have nothing to do. I'm max
Mhm.
light. I've got all my adventures and stuff done. Faction rally, I've got everything already. So it's like, well, now what do I do? Okay, cool. I'm going to go play another game now.
exactly. There's
So
no there's no weapon drops to grind for. There's no weapon rolls to grind for. There's no there's nothing really all that unique. Even the tier 12 loadouts, I guess you can grind for mods, but
I've got so many of them that they've been going to my postmaster.
Right, and that's where I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they've hit that, like you're saying. They haven't hit the good middle ground yet. They've made it
Not at
too
all.
easy. It feels more like a first person shooter than it does an RPG. And it used to have more RPG elements, and I feel like they dumbed it down to make it easier for people who don't want to play as much. But so much so that fanatic fan base that they had is going to go find something else to do because they're not going to have anything to do.
Well, not even that.
Yeah.
It's I could see if, like I at least make an attempt at trials every week. I'll at least go into the raid once a week.
Mhm.
And like if I was getting stuff, knowing that, okay, you know what? I made that attempt. Somebody in my clan completed it and got it for me. Awesome. That wouldn't bother me. But now I see the problem of you're going to have people joining clans, hardly ever be on, once a week, pop in, get your engrams, pop back off. Okay, cool. New expansion comes out, hardcore play it for a week. Okay, disappear, except for once a week.
Right.
And
but
if you're
under the server, it's just going to show that you have so many active members because they logged in.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's actually going to be playing. So this is where we're going to end up with the problem in like PvP. There's no reason to hop into a regular quick play game. There's not a specific reason at this point because you already have all the weapons that it's going to drop, and there's no specific roles to go for. It's just, well, you can go in there and just play, which is fine, but there's no specific reason to. You've lost the reason to grind.
Yeah, well, I read an interesting article about a guy was addressing this, and he was saying that it's actually better because now you don't have to go through this tedious process of here he says, in Destiny 1, it would take forever to unlock all the perks once you got an exotic. You'd have to go grind for planetary mats and get experience points and just keep doing the same stuff over and over and over again. And he was saying some people enjoyed that, but other people didn't, and he's saying, his quote is, "You haven't been deprived of 6 hours of Destiny, you've been relieved of 6 hours of bullshit."
Which is a valid way to look at it, but at the same time, looking at this game now, it's like, okay, well now I'm actually considering buying Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm actually considering getting, Mario Odyssey and actually playing it on the Switch, and going and doing other things. Whereas I put, 1,700 hours into D1, I don't think I'm going to put 1,700 hours into D2. I don't see any reason to at this point.
Yeah,
because there's nothing to grind for.
If I put that kind of hours into D2, it's going to be all the hours that I'm going to be helping clan members, get their Nightfall through or whatnot, because I'm readily available most of the day. Hey, can somebody come help with the Nightfall? Sure, give me a minute and I'll hop on and help out.
Right, but that's not rewarding to you. Granted, it does promote a good clan.
Well, it's rewarding because not to pat myself on the back here, but also to pat myself on the back. Like I carried a couple of guys through the Nightfall the other night, and they were like, "Wow, great job! Thank you so much for helping. We couldn't do this. We were struggling with other people." And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." It came out that they had like 20, 30 kills in the Nightfall, and I had well over 150 kills. And
Wow.
like that's rewarding to me, helping people be able to get those rewards, get through that activity. And then, like this week I just completed, Prestige Nightfall. That was pretty rewarding. I get to wear a stupid little blue crown for like 4 days till reset, but it's still rewarding. And, it's cool to see it when we were doing the raid last night. Who was the only one wearing the blue crown? Me. And that's pretty cool.
So here's my question, though, System. Would you feel better about like the clan rewards if they gave specific rewards to, like, say, Sherpas who are guiding people through these things?
Not necessarily. Like that's the thing about being a Sherpa is you do it for the reward of hearing people going, "Oh hell yeah, we just did that!" Thank you so much. That's your reward. You shouldn't be enticed to be a Sherpa by an in-game reward. You
No,
should
but
want to do it because you want to do it.
But would it might probably worded it wrong. Would it be more of an incentive, do you think, for other people to play?
No, I don't think so. Because Sherpas are gonna Sherp just because, and the other people that are gonna need help are needing help because their other friends aren't playing. So
That's true.
That's why people like me exist.
And that's a valid point. I was doing that. I did that last week with Trials. I took 2 teams of people who had never played Trials before, who had never won a game, and we played. It took a few games, because there were 3 of them and just one of me, and eventually each team we won a game, and then they got to go to the third spire, which they hadn't been to before, and they got to go meet the vendor and kind of look around there, which was cool. That was a lot of fun to do, introduce those people to Trials, which is fine. But I got zero loot out of that, and I took I'm not max level even on my first character yet. So I spent a lot of time that evening grinding for them, which is fine. But at the same time, I think you would have more people doing stuff like that if the game had more to grind for, per se. Like, I'm okay with doing it just because they were clanmates. They're people I played a ton of D1 with. But I don't know if I'm necessarily going to go do that for no loot and no reward. Of really any kind, for very long. I guess at least until I hit max. Once I hit max, I guess I'm okay with doing that. But I don't know. Right now, I don't feel like it's worth my time consistently.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. There's a lot less to grind for. There's a lot, the weapon pool. There's no variances in the weapon pool. Sure, I could have 3 Uriel's gift and, 1 for each element, but, I can just change my element on the fly because I have so many damn mods.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. There's really no point in having multiples of a gun when you can just switch your mod and, oh, look, it's whatever element you want it to be.
And, when I was helping people with the Nightfall, my Uriel's was on solar, but when I went to do the Prestige Nightfall, I switched it to arc because the Harpies have arc shields. And so it's an easy switch, but sure, I could grind for the 3 Uriel's gifts so I don't have to worry about that, and grind for the levels of each so that they're all on the exact same level. But it's like, why when I can just swap it on the fly? There's not the random rolls anymore. I'm not chasing planetary items as much anymore because either I don't like that armor or it's not really. It's there's nothing really to grind for anymore, and I did like that grind.
See, and that's why I'm hoping when Iron Banner comes around, or say we get a Festival of the Lost, that might change because you'll have those things to grind for again. But once you get all the Iron Banner gear, what's going to be left?
But yeah, that's my point though. It's like that's a week-long event, and somebody like me is going to be done with it in a day or two. And
again, because you have those casuals who are just going to get on Friday or Saturday,
or even just an hour a night, which is what the game was built for, was somebody that was going to get on for an hour a night, be able to just do a few things at a time. It's not built for somebody like me who can spend Tuesday from 9 to 8, or 9 to 5 playing the game. I can get the raid done. I can get all my milestones done on all 3 characters in those 8 hours. And then what do I do with the rest of my week?
Well, yeah, and that it kind of links into the conversation we had last week about the CAD and KDA, whereas it's primarily going towards casual players versus your one percenters.
Right, which is actually brings us up to a conversation that we didn't finish last week.
Oh
that
no, we
probably should
finished
finish.
it.
No,
Oh no,
didn't.
we finished it.
No, we didn't.
No,
finish
no.
it.
See, are we classifying this as a conversation or a debate? I mean,
I think it's a conversation because there are two valid ways to look at it, and I think both of them have their benefits. I still prefer the older KDA method, where assists are worth half. And we actually had a little poll within the clan, and the clan did. I'm sorry, system. The clan sided with me.
You did it in the PvP chat.
Yeah, I
Next
did it
time
in the PvP chat.
do that in the BS chat, because you've got the casuals that don't pay attention to PvP chat. You put it in
Okay,
the chat room
how about
that
this?
has more PvP players in it.
How about
But
I do
even-
it on Twitter?
but even still,
Or
like
should I
if
not
you
do it on
look
Twitter?
if you look at the poll results,
Mhm.
well, one, the sample size for the actual people voting wasn't super big.
That's
Second off, you only it was only by 6.
Yeah, I mean it was 63% voted for KDA, so it wasn't a huge, it wasn't like a landslide by any means. And a lot of guys said they preferred KDA, but it needed an asterisk because it depended on the situation. And I think that's where I'm falling on this. Is it really depends on the situation. I think KDA is better for looking at your individual skill. Again, this is why I wish we had Rumble. And KAD is better for looking at a trials team that's been running together for a week. You know, if they've been running together all weekend, KAD is going to tell me how that team is going to play. Whereas if I'm just going to pick up a random dude and add him to my team, I want to look at their KDA because I want to know how they play as an individual and how that's going to, it should roll into my team, if that makes sense.
See, that's why I think when they do the KAD, I think they should have it set up so that you can find it in game, and it is something that you can look at as a team versus an individual. Because if
I think
I'm
that's
running
why they named it efficiency.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's awesome to see at the end of a match. But if I could look and say, the 4 of us were running, and we were running all week, preparing for trials, what have you, and we could look it up and say, okay, as a team, this is how we did. Okay, and individually, this is how we did. It would give us a better view of how you work as a team versus how you work as an individual.
So you're saying you want to look up actually be able to look at an individual stat, so you could say when this person, and this person are on my team, this is what my stats look like. Ooh, I don't know if they can necessarily fit that in the game, but I bet you they could figure that out within the API.
Oh my
Ash?
god, yes.
Hey, Ash.
That's
we need you to do that.
That's some math.
That would take a lot, because I mean you can go back, because obviously like when you look on DTR and even on the old D1 stats, you can see, okay, this is what your fire team looked like.
Yeah.
I'd say it's possible.
That's a lot of VLOOKUP, and
that's a lot of number crunching. So
that's a lot. That's a long Excel formula.
That's like look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Do this math, and then pop out some results.
Well, I think it's actually only 3 if statements.
It's a bit more than that.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to look at every possible combination of.
Yeah.
It
Well,
might
if
be
you're
a
only
little
looking
easier
at-
with you and one other person, but if you're looking at like combinations of,
Who
I was
in
just
your
going to say,
clan you
if
can
it
work
has
with.
to be these 3 other people on your team, if it has to be those 3, you should only, if 3 are in the fire team, what is your average KD?
Yeah, but then it's
What is
also
your
which build are they using?
Yeah.
Right. Well, those are beyond that. I'm
which
just talking
two.
about with that individual player.
I mean, I think what
some people play
But yeah.
a warlock better than they do their hunter.
So
Or their
okay,
Titan.
yeah, you could really drill it down, but I don't think that kind of a drill down is available currently.
No, it would
No.
that would be manual coding to do the math.
Okay, well,
yeah, because you just get basic stats and you just have to basically, it just craps out, here's all your matches.
Yeah. Okay. So
Then you'd
but
have
you
to
could
go through one
export
by
it into
one and calculate
Excel
that.
and then go individual. You could run formulas via Excel to pull it all down.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do
Isolate
the
it.
math yourself, sure.
But I think what
Alright,
it can
I might
boil
do that,
down to
'cause I'm bored.
is that the main argument is that a lot of people think that the KAD is a feel good stat. It doesn't mean anything. And when people look at it, it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's to make casual players feel good.
Well,
When you-
but
when
it
you
does mean something.
It does. And when you break it down, it truly is how well you perform with a certain group of people or how well you performed with the group of people that you were running with. So it's not the same as your KDA, but it's close enough where I can understand why Bungie wanted to do it that way, because they want to make sure that you know how you're running with your group of people that you run with, because 9 times out of 10, when you're playing with a group, it's going to be that group usually. I mean, if you're in a bigger clan or you're a solo player, the KDA may not mean, or KAD may not mean as much to you, because honestly, you're not playing with the same people. You're not averaging that score or that ranking or that number consistently. And you might be, but at the same time, you're not.
No, and I get that, and I think ultimately it's a good system. But my only primary concern, I think this is where System and I might disagree again, is the value of an assist.
Yeah,
I think
that's mostly where that is exactly where we disagree, is the value of an assist.
And what do you think should be the value of an assist?
I think it should be 75%.
Okay, I'll give you. I just think I'm more of a. I wish it was more damage based.
Because
Personally.
nine times out of 10, I'm in an engagement with the guy.
Mhm.
And like I do pretty good when I like solo queue or even queue with other people. I do have a pretty good KD. But 9 times out of 10, I'm shooting a guy and my teammate will suddenly come around the corner and get that last shot. Boom, they get the kill and I get the assist. So if it was 75%, and maybe it's just me that it happens to all the damn time, and so that's probably why it's maybe it's why it's swaying my idea on this. But it seems like that happens a lot.
See, and I
Okay,
agree with
that's a valid point. That does happen, and that is a valid point. But this is where my points based system would come in. Is if you have more than 75% of the damage done, and you're still alive, you should get the full kill credit. If that last person comes in and puts the last shot on him, you should get the kill credit.
Because if you think about it this way, you get into engagement and you go, okay, I'm in center rotunda, like in javelin. I'm in center, off of B. I'm in an engagement. I call it out to my teammate, and he's down the hall. He books it over to me to help me so that we get the kill together. But I've done most of the damage. I want that 75% or more, 75, 85%, whatever. I mean, if you're, 75% is a good round number. 50% is a good round number. I don't want, 83.5% of that kill, because
Right, and
then you're asking Bungie to do all this extra coding, and it's just going to make the game more laggy because it's already
right.
bad enough.
And on my end, I'm looking at it as I think a damage base like 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. Kind of a breakdown. If you do 10% of the damage, you get a 0.25 assist. If you do 68% of the damage, you get a 0.75 assist. If you do more than 75% of the damage, you get the kill, and the other guy would get a 0.25 assist.
Well, except that it wouldn't work that way, because Bungie, they don't round up, they round down on things. So like when you see damage numbers on an enemy, that is actually a rounded down number.
Correct.
So if you got, between 0 and 10, you'd get a 0.
Well,
So
they round down the individual hit points that you see, but I think they could.
that
they
but
could
that's how
numbers.
they do most of their math. It just auto rounds down.
Hmm.
It's easier because then it puts it at a even number. If I remember correctly, they always I'm pretty sure I'm remembering correctly from when they talked about it, from when they did all those major Crucible changes, and they really
Yeah.
went in depth talking about that.
They showed that they gave like a 0.01 buff to an auto rifle, but they're like, hey, this actually makes a difference.
Yeah, and they specifically, were putting damage numbers on somebody. We're saying, okay, this is what it is, but this is what the actual number is getting thrown into our system, but it's rounding to this number, which is shown onto your screen. Because I remember like Holtzman brought up this huge thing about the math
Mhm.
of, hey, this gun is showing this on screen, but why am I getting 3 tapped? Because according to these numbers, I should be getting 4 tapped.
Right, and this is actually something we're talking about with the multi-tool right now, which is why you're supposed to build your armor to 194, which is higher than a 4 resilience. So you need, I think, a 5 resilience or higher, because it puts you to 194, because the multi-tool only shows up at doing like 44 damage, but because they round down, it could be as high as 44.4, and therefore you would need to go one level above that.
That Fallout Plays video about
that was it.
mobility, resilience, and recovery
It's really
is a huge video. Like, that is amazing. The fact that he, took the time, figured out the numbers was great, because it proves that mobility is nothing but a stat for strafe and walking.
good.
Doesn't affect your running. Everybody runs the same speed.
Yep.
Unless you have like boots or Mida or whatever.
Right.
And it's all about strafe speed. And if you got a high mobility, you are strafing like crazy. And I don't know how you even touch anybody when you're trying to strafe like that. And trying to hit somebody with that kind of movement is stupid difficult. And anything over a certain amount of recovery is a waste. Anything more than a certain resilience is a waste.
Exactly, and that's basically 5 resilience is your prime number there, and then outside of that, you should pretty much just max out your recovery and forget about mobility. Honestly, that's probably the smartest build for PvP sake.
Yeah, unless you're running like a 3 and under mobility, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. So, but anyways, if you guys haven't seen that video, Fallout Plays put out a really, really good video on it. Fantastic stuff. You guys really should go watch that. It really helped you understand it, because I'd seen a few other videos that said that mobility and resilience were worthless and they didn't actually do anything, and that's not the case. The testing methods that they used were bad. They used sprint speed, which is obviously it's not affected, and they used some really weird weapon testing methods that just didn't line up right. And
Fallout is just like the most in depth and
right. And
it's a short video.
Right, it's not super long, and he referenced other people's work. Mercules in particular, from Massive Breakdown, did all the armor numbers, and those are still estimates at this point because Bungie hasn't released exact numbers to us. So, and we're until we can get into private matches, we're kind of limited on exactly what we can test. But that's the best known numbers as of right now. Anyways, so all really, really good stuff from the TWAB. And there are other conversations here. So I think that's real good. So this week we'd also like to talk about some of the lore. I know we've had a lot of these really cool new exotics that we've gotten, and I'm sure some of us have our favorites. And I wanted to talk about those today. So let's start. Let's start with Doc. Doc, what is your favorite exotic when it comes to the lore? You might not necessarily use it all the time, but you read the lore. And for those guys who don't know, you can actually inspect all of the exotics and even some of your legendaries, and they'll have specific lore, a little story, a little background. Like the Sturm has some really cool stuff on it. Once you guys finish that quest line, that gives additional insight into that entire story that you go through on the quest line. But all of these weapons and armor have these really cool pieces of lore that are attached to them. You actually read in the game. So, Doc, what's your favorite one so far?
Well, the one that I picked for at least right now is the Wings of Sacred Dawn.
Okay, what do you like about those? What's the story behind them?
Just because.
Wait, is that those floofy warlock?
Oh yeah.
chess
Oh yeah.
piece?
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Is that the angel wings?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have been calling them the fairy wings.
yeah, the ones that make you
Yeah.
float if you're a Dawnblade. Those
Yeah.
are atrocious.
No, I just like it because it actually mentions Pajari, who we don't really actually hear that much about. It's about him training another warlock in the aspect of being an actual Dawnblade.
So, who is Pajari?
He was an old warlock. He had a very, very specific view on the darkness and the light, pretty much saying that they were the opposite sides of the same coin.
Yeah, yin and yang. I mean, hello.
Let's see, where is it? He's also spent a lot of time, like, if you look into like the lore of the Black Garden from Destiny 1, he has actually been to the Black Garden and had visions while he was there.
So
He
did
had
I.
the- Well,
It was some giant minotaurs dying. Big
All
deal.
right.
but
Okay.
that's where he comes along with he's the one with the theory on the roses. He's the ones that comes up with, the fact that the darkness and the light might not be so different than we're thinking that it is.
Yeah, void. That's darkness.
Void is the absence of light, or the absence of everything. It's not really darkness.
Well, it stems from the darkness, whatever the darkness is. Since Bungie doesn't even know.
They know now.
No, they
Supposedly.
don't.
Do they? I'm pretty sure.
No, they admitted
don't.
they have no idea.
Yes, but they said when they were talking about D1 that they really had no direction for what the darkness was, but they
That's
do
what
have
happens when you change your game 6 months away from launch.
but they do have a direction as far as everybody can tell now. They know where they want to go. They know what they have their ideas in place. I mean, like you said, they changed it 6 months from launch, and Destiny 2 kind of feels like a retcon in a lot of the lore. So God only knows if that's going to change. All of a sudden, they could have this one set that this is the darkness, and then, we got we supposedly have a 10-year plan. 2 years from now, all of a sudden, we could find out that we're the darkness, and we've been playing as the bad guys ever since.
Oh, yeah, we're the douchebags? So it would make sense.
I mean,
That does explain a lot.
That's right, because the speaker's supposed to be a bad guy, right?
well, he's dead now. I mean,
Yeah.
Is he though?
I mean,
No, didn't I just
No,
saw
I'm
it
just
like
kidding,
in my
I'm just kidding.
in my subs on YouTube. I think somebody just did a video on
Yeah,
Is the
Bife
speaker-
did.
is it Bife that did it? Yeah.
Yeah, Bife did it, but there is a cutscene where, after the fact, your ghost mentions, I can't believe the speaker's gone.
yeah, that's a
Now what does actually
power.
does he mean by gone? But
I mean, we could find out that everybody assumes he's dead, and then he's off doing, whatever it is that he does, not telling anything to anybody. You know what really irritates me about the speaker? He spoke more to Gaul than he did us.
For real.
Like,
Gosh.
can't answer
although
my...
that whole "feel free to kill yourself" line, that's probably the best line in the game.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
a-
that and the whole, I speak for the traveler, but I didn't say it speaks to me. Savage. Like,
Yeah.
those writers were just sitting there
Oh, yeah.
giggling to
Oh,
themselves when they
yeah.
wrote those lines.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the guy, everyone's gonna love this. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, no, he's
Yeah,
a
we
snark-
did. Yeah,
he's a
you got us.
snarky bastard. No, they did really well. I mean, we could find out that he's actually still alive, but I mean, at this point, are we even sure that all the other Guardians got their light back? There's no actual confirmation on it at all. And it's not like we see any Guardians out in the field except for, like, Asher, and, well, he's insane.
Except he's not yeah, I guess he's a guardian.
He's
Well,
a
yeah.
Guardian with a crazy
With a Vex arm.
mindset and a Vex arm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, when you've spent that much time in different Vex realities, you're gonna be a little crazy.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see how Osiris comes back.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting.
If he's
Very
not as crazy or crazier than Asher, then they fucked up.
Oh my gosh.
Like if he doesn't just like completely talk off the wall but still make sense like Asher does, then they messed up because it'd be like Toland. If
At
they
this
suddenly
point-
brought back
Yeah.
Toland, he should be super crazy too at this point.
Oh no, if they bring back
Shit.
Toland, we should be fighting him in some sort of raid.
No, I have a feeling that's where Eris is. She's going to find him.
Have you seen the
Ooh.
theory that Toland's soul is actually in Eris's rock?
Well, yeah, I've definitely heard that, but
I hope
I
not.
think that's more of a way it's her walkie-talkie to him.
Yeah, I think it's a piece of Hive technology that
Because, I mean, how else would she have known to go pick up that thing to be able to make the swords in D1 after we
Exactly.
just killed, what was she doing? Hanging off in the sidelines while we were fighting Oryx just to be able to come in and go, oh, they may just grab this little rock and give you a sword. That works.
my theory on her rock is that it's her replacement for her ghost. I think that's where her throne world is.
Her throne world.
You think
Dude,
she's created a throne world?
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes.
Now you need to get off the
I
sauce.
think now this is getting this little deep, so I think
Yeah.
we're gonna pull this back a little bit.
You need
So,
to get off the
so
sauce.
system. What's your favorite exotic lore?
I don't read the lore, but I like
Okay,
I
Ash,
like my
what's-
warlock
what's,
exotic helmet that looks like the Statue of Liberty. Works real good for Arc.
Okay, valid point. But you don't have any lore in particular that you're a fan of. That's
no.
okay. That's okay. Ash, what do you got?
Yeah, this is more. I mean, the lore's pretty cool, but I'm a big fan of the Lunafaction boots right now. And even the lore, kind of gets into more how warlocks are just scholars, and we try to understand things. So here it's talking about how Titans would have you believe that victory is won through brute force. Skill can be countered, courage can waver, and firepower is finite. But what if firepower could be made infinite? That's
Yeah, it reaches to that core of warlocks, which is we're gonna find a magic way to make everything to our advantage.
Well, it's not even magic, it's just knowledge.
Space magic. Space magic.
right.
The one thing I like about all the warlock exotics and the warlock lore is that they're so condescending to the other classes.
Oh yes, so much.
Yes,
It's so
it's
funny.
because we're clearly the best. That's why.
I agree.
Ash, didn't
It
you
just
main a
cracks
Titan
me
in D1?
No, I mained a warlock. I ran a Titan all the time in the raids because nobody else would bring one.
Because nobody wants to play a warlock titan.
That's right. I was being a good reg and admin and contributing to the group.
That's why I've only been running a warlock lately, and my hunter and my Titan haven't even completed the raid. But I've completed the raid like 15 times on my damn warlock.
It's just hilarious because anytime you read any of the lore, even Ikora, she's just so snarky when it comes to any other class. It's hilarious.
She is. I love Ikora. She's great.
I like for what is it, the D1, the Defender Titan. They're like, what do you think it is when the enemy disintegrates inside your bubble? When they're talking about Void, because Titans don't like using Void because it's not natural, it's evil.
Yeah, because Void is the darkness.
Oh my god, it's not the darkness.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
Me and you were
anyway.
gonna have a talk.
Oh, we'll talk.
Anyways, my favorite so far, I don't use it very much in Crucible because it's not that great, but the Graviton Lance pulse rifle has this great little conversation attached to it in the lore. And it's this guy finds this weapon in the middle of nowhere, and his buddy asks him, like, hey, you going to tell everybody else about it? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, when are you going to tell them? In the Crucible. It's just like, oh my god. It's shooting tiny bullet-sized black holes. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going in the Crucible. Just like, oh my gosh. Because that would be me. That honestly, I would do that. And I guess that's why it just resonates with me so much, because I would be the kind of guy to just kind of shoot you with it, and then you're like,
Oh yeah,
what the
no.
hell did I just get hit by?
The
Like,
conversation
it's
is
a tiny
one.
little black hole.
The conversation is, I personally believe, is 100% between like a hunter and a titan, because that's a completely hunter mindset of, oh, I found this. Yeah, you're gonna let everybody know eventually after I use it a lot. It's something Cade would do.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Like, it's just
I'm
hilarious.
surprised that conversation didn't happen between Cade and Ikora or Zavala. Honestly,
Well, did at the end of D1, did you see the interaction between Shax and Cade about, or I think it was Shax and Cade about the Crucible when they like did one-on-ones?
Shax and Cade.
Let me see if I can find the Grimoire card. But it's essentially Shax like arguing with Cade about the use of Golden Gun.
Oh no, I didn't see that, because I saw one on one of the pieces of lore on one of the weapon. It was weapon or armor. It's a letter from Shax to Zavala telling him, I'm not patching the Suros regime back to its way overpowered glory days, and that I'm not removing Red Death engrams from the Crucible, and just basically telling him that to get out of his Crucible because it's his and he can't tell him what to do, and that there was some other exotic that he had handed it over to the future War Cult leader, and so it was out of his jurisdiction now, so you can't do anything about it. It was just like the biggest FU letter I've ever seen. It was awesome, and I don't remember what weapon it was attached to or piece of armor, but that was great. They really went above with this. It wasn't the details on the multi-tool. Yeah, it is. It's the lore on the multi-tool. Yeah, it's the lore on the multi-tool. So I won't confiscate the Red Death engrams. I won't roll back the Suros Crucible firmware to its original preposterously inflated state, and I won't conduct any more forensic inquiries like this. Let's see here, and then it goes. My Red Jacks unlocked your Mida weapons logs, and then basically Guerrilla War suits these versatile weapons, but Rahul insists his records never hinted at a rebel group named Mida. And then I gave Lakshmi the weapon for her take. She insinuates that it came from another timeline, the multi-tool, perhaps through Golden Age experiments. That means it's outside your jurisdiction to ban. It's very interesting, but I just love the he's a written letter between Zavala and Shax, and he's just telling him like, no, not your jurisdiction. Get out of here. Anyways, so that I think is so far covering kind of our favorite stuff. We want to hear what your guys' favorite lore is. We want to know what you guys have been interested in, what pieces of lore, whether it be exotics, whether it be specific missions or adventures or anything like that. If you found something that you really like, you'd like to hear us talk about on the podcast, shoot us a DM on Twitter, DoD Westside, or send us an email. Our email is tforgottenfaction@gmail.com. Again, that's the letter T, forgottenfaction@gmail.com. Send us that email. We promise we'll read it, and we'll see if we can bring it on the next episode as much as we can. So with that, System, what else were we going to talk about today? Was that it?
I just found out something that's really cool that's not really related to anything.
What is it?
Oh, I thought you said, wait a minute. So I just got my new vape mod in the mail, and I can put a logo on the screen of it, and I can make whatever I want. So I can put my own Destiny logo on my vape. It's pretty cool.
I guess that is kind of cool.
So I guess I'll be designing that later or seeing if somebody's already made.
Okay, that's
funny. That reminds me of something I saw on Reddit. Somebody had posted a video of some news guy in between takes, and he's taking a pull off an e-cig, but it's one of the old ones that looks like an actual cigarette.
Oh, the Sean Hannity one, yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody in the comments had said, "Yeah, my mom does that. She likes to actually look like she's smoking a cigarette, not sucking on a lightsaber." Oh.
Yeah, he uses the little one, and like a lot of people do still, because it's the closest thing to a cigarette. So it's, you can pick them at a gas station. So a lot of people buy those. Whereas I've got like one that I can do like 300 plus watts on it, and get all crazy with it.
What, and blow out a giant fog bank full of vapor.
Yeah. Some days it gets pretty bad in my office if I forget to open my door. Like, suddenly I'll be like, oh, hey, it's kind of hazy in here. Oh, shit, the door's closed. Fuck. So we talked about the TWAB.
Well, the one thing we haven't talked about yet is which factions are you guys repping? I think we kind of like hinted at it, but I'm personally repping New Monarchy to start, and I think my second character is going to go Future War Cult. But those shaders for New Monarchy, they just look amazing.
Oh yeah, they look pretty good. I think the basic the blue, the rare quality blue version of it is the gold is very toned down, so it's more of a like a copper, not necessarily like a bright and shiny gold.
Yeah, well, there's actually two of them.
Yeah, there's two, and then the legendary is the one that's actually got the real gold. And
no, I'm saying there's two rare ones.
Oh, I haven't got the second rare one then.
Yeah, the reds and the golds stay about the same, but one of them has like a silver with it, and the other one has like a matte black, and it looks really good when you put it on the trials weapons. Oh my gosh!
Because like I'm only getting shaders at this point from all three factions.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that I haven't got that one. So okay.
Let me see if it's falling under rare, and I think I can. Plus mods. Can I? Oh, I guess no. Those fall under consumables. What do? I'm trying to look it up. Shaders fall under what category?
Oh, I don't know. So Ash, how do you feel about the raid?
I really like it. I have a blast doing it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of stuff being very mechanic and communication heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Which this is.
Yeah, very very much so. Agreed.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan. Like a lot of people say, God, I hate King's Fall. I fucking love King's Fall.
Same here. I loved King's
Fall. I
Fall.
love Wrath of the Machine, especially the Axis encounter, just because you have to be constantly talking. Everybody constantly has to be doing their job. There's not a whole lot of room for error, but still you can still kind of get away with screwing up a little bit,
A few things here and there, like last night.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just really enjoy that. So I'm a big fan of this raid so far, and I like it how it's kind of split up and they rotate the encounters every week, so it's not just the same. Oh, gotta go do the abyss, and then we gotta go do the bridge, and then we gotta go do the Death Singer.
Yeah, I do like that as well. That it kind of forces people that go, okay, I don't like Gauntlet. You're going to be forced to do Gauntlet, or wait till one of your buddies has done Gauntlet to get the checkpoint past that. And it's like it forces you to work on an encounter to get better at it, so that you can do it first time every time.
Yeah, and I like the whole getting a key for the loot system. So it's not just getting the best stuff at the end. I mean, you kind of are, but
no,
you just have to do that little bit of extra to get your loot from the first encounters. because running around in the tunnels is fun.
Mhm.
So I've heard. I've done it just a tad, just a little bit here or there. Still haven't beat the raid personally, but I've probably spent a good 5 hours in there maybe now, maybe 6. I'm enjoying it so far, but I definitely think I got a lot of work to do before I'm gonna get that finished.
Yeah, even myself, I've still got a lot of time to be in there. More to better, just to be better at it in general. It's not an easy raid. It semi lends itself to playing with the same people all the time, but as long as other people know it, it's pretty good. I really enjoy it for the same reasons you do.
Yeah, I mean, I even ran with a completely different group. When was it? Wednesday and Thursday. When we made it all the way through to Callus, even with a couple of guys that had never run the raid before,
Mhm.
and and personally, I need to run more just so I can learn all the different roles. Right now I've only done inside Callus. I've not held the golden almonds in the pleasure gardens yet. I've not done that yet. I still don't quite know my way around down there.
Oh, right. Not like I do.
Yeah, not like you do. Because there's some times where they'll be like, "Hey, front right," and we go out that door, and then you turn and go left. I was like, "Where the hell are you going?" It's right there. Okay, never mind. We'll just follow.
front right, mid left. Although it changed it up on me a little bit last night. I think it was mid right, mid left, and I'm like, "Wow, I haven't done that." Okay, well, let's go with it. Okay. And
Yeah.
I wish I could understand what was going on last night in dogs. What kept going wrong on mid right? Like I just couldn't understand it, and like that's why I'm like, okay, did somebody run? Like what were we messing?
Yeah,
up? Because
I think it's a case of, because I was turned around facing the other direction just so I could see where the dog was. I think it's just a matter of someone saying, "Yes, I'm right up there," but they kind of actually weren't. Where they were kind of lagging behind a little bit. So then one of the dogs did see them. Although there's sometimes where it's, it's like, okay, that dog was way far away from me facing the other direction.
Yeah.
And then
there
it just turns around and rushes you.
Yeah, there were definitely a few times that it was like, where the hell did you just come from? Like, why are you suddenly on my ass? You shouldn't be here. And because you can like get right up on the dog's ass as long as you don't run or you don't bump into them. You can like get right on their ass. And that's why last night I was like, what is going on here? I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, I still think there's a lot of kinks that need to get worked out.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Some of these bugs are just stupid,
Yeah, there's definitely some things that's like that shouldn't have happened. Well, okay, let's restart and like last night when we got Callus down to where he should have procced his shield, but his shield didn't proc, and it was like, okay, well, this is awesome. Well, let's just redo this an entire encounter again.
Yeah, it's like, okay, he has no shield. He should be doing that last final stand bit, but now he's just repeatedly over and over shooting the big bomb at us,
Yeah, it's almost like the bug that's going to get fixed on Tuesday, where if you finish the encounter as you die, it puts you in that constant death cycle. It was almost like that's what happened, but for him. And it was like, okay, let's just wipe and restart. But
and then hopefully you don't get the bug where you wipe, but then one person.
Yeah, one person reses and then nobody else can res, so you have to go all the way back to the Castellum and redo it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's sad.
that's it's really annoying. Yeah,
You wipe, and then only one person comes in, and all you can do is go back to orbit, and it sucks.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer.
but
All right.
thankfully, most people are getting really good at the Castellum, so it's a breeze nowadays.
Well, that's good at least.
So, anyways,
So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's a good, nice, crazy long episode this week.
oh
Yeah,
actually,
I gotta hop off anyway.
No-
So
okay. Thank you, Ash, for sticking around. Zach,
Oh, sure.
stick
I mean-
around for a few more minutes.
like I say, if you had something, I could stay on for a couple more minutes. if you
No,
got one
no,
last
no.
thing,
You
but-
can go. I'm just gonna do a little announcement section.
Okay.
Announcements.
So, thank you, Ash, for coming by and hanging out with us for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's great
Anytime.
to have you.
Anytime.
And absolutely. Well, you have a good day, sir, and we will talk with
All
you
right.
soon.
You too. All right. Later.
So, some announcements.
Yeah.
So some announcements. We have officially moved to weekly, and
Yes.
we may be changing our recording date, which will also be changing our release date
Release
each week. Also, we have submitted the podcast to iTunes. It is currently under review, and once if that is actually finalized and gone through, which I'm really hoping it will, then we will officially be moving to iTunes.
Correct. And with
And-
that, there will also be a RSS feed option, so that if you have Android and you don't have iTunes podcast, you can get it on any of your podcast apps.
Mhm.
That link will be on our website as soon as it's available.
Yes, and I will continue doing the YouTube version for people that prefer that version. I've noticed the YouTube's been getting a few more views. Not like, crazy amount of views or anything, but it's been getting a few views. It seems like a few people prefer the YouTube version.
Mhm.
I'm the same way. I prefer a YouTube version of the podcast myself.
And we will continue to upload to SoundCloud as well until it's 100% officially on iTunes.
Yes.
And we'll
Yeah,
probably at least have an
SoundCloud will-
overlap episode there to give you guys fair warning.
Yes, yeah, we will do an episode on SoundCloud, maybe two, to make the transition, and then once the transition is full, it will be fully iTunes and YouTube.
Great. It'll allow us to keep a better backlog. SoundCloud's limiting us to basically keeping like 2 running episodes at a time. And that's
I just didn't
that's a
want
little
to pay
frustrating.
for it.
Yeah, exactly. We found a way to do it potentially for free with unlimited, so you should be able to see all the episodes and then have it all on iTunes. It makes it super easy. And then obviously with YouTube, we can get unlimited there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think those are ultimately better options for this podcast.
Yes, I think all of these changes are for the better for everything, for everybody. Especially the changing the days of when we record, so that information is put out sooner. And I think that's it for this week.
That's it. So again, if you want to find us on Twitter, we're at DoD Westside. On Twitter, at Twitch, at DoD Westside. And you can also shoot us an email, T as in the T Forgotten Faction at gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
All right. And with that, I think we need a little outro music, maybe?
No.